To share our condolences with the Mystery family. Is Untitled. He will continue to inspire us. I do hope, my dear friends, Darius and grandfather, Diwan Bahadur M. Murugappa Chettiar, who set up my sons, that's my grandfather and his brothers, diversified into textile, rubber plantations, insurance and stockbroking. Then seeing further opportunities in Malaya, which is Malaysia today, Vietnam, and Ceylon, which is Sri Lanka today, they moved their business there too. Then just before the Japanese invasion of Burma during the World War II, they moved all their assets back to India. Then in 1949, they set up TI Cycles of India, which along with Tube Investments of the United Kingdom, which was the largest manufacturer of bicycles at that point of time. They sold under the brand of Hercules Cycles. They manufactured and sold Hercules Cycles, which is still today one of our premier brands. So today we're 29 businesses spreading across agriculture, engineering and financial services and other small businesses. Out of this, 10 of the companies are listed companies. In the agriculture sector, in 1980 we made our largest acquisition at that time by acquiring the 200-year-old EID Paddy. Shortly after which EID acquired Coromandel Fertilizers from Chevron USA. Then in the engineering side, we set up Tube Investments, like I said, in 1949, followed by Carborundum Universal in 1954. Carborundum was set up as a tripartite agreement between Carborundum US, a grinding wheel company UK, and Carborundum India in 1954. Carborundum then acquired Vent India in 1991. As far as TI goes, we acquired, apart from setting up the other tube and chain businesses, we acquired Shanti Gears and lately we acquired CG Power in the year 2020. In the financial sector, we have Cholamandalam Finance, which was established in 1978, and the insurance business, which was set up in 2001. The group businesses are run on an excerpt from the Untitled Chapter, which is the fundamental principle of economic activity is that no man you transact with will lose, then you shall not. And the spirit of the Murugappa group are based on the 5 lights. The light of integrity that gives us the courage to always do the right thing. The light of responsibility that gives us the humility to think about the world around us. The light of respect that inspires people around us to perform. The light of quality which makes us dream of excellence. And lastly, the light of passion that provides us with a desire to win. These 5 lights guides us as we navigate through professional and personal decisions. So today, the Murugappa Group is 122 years old with a turnover of 54,722 crores, with a market capitalization of 1,78,412 crores. We have 29 businesses, 10 listed businesses, and 59,000 employees. We have 99 manufacturing locations across 17 states, 11 overseas manufacturing locations, and 17 overseas marketing offices. Like I said, for the past 73 years, we've been manufacturing bicycles. We've been in the mobility business. It's part of our DNA. As of today, TI supplies components to almost all major OEMs in the country across two-wheelers, four-wheelers, off-road and railways, making us inseparable part of India's mobility. So this was more like a natural transition into electric mobility. Let me just get the slide right here. Okay, so this is to electric vehicles is the need of the hour. We've always maintained that we were over-dependent on the auto industry. By auto, I mean the ICE. So we decided to diversify into other businesses, and electric vehicles being a natural diversification. As you would already be aware, the electric vehicles are the way forward for the automotive industry. Advancements in technology and globalization have catalyzed the process of integrating an EV ecosystem and shifting to a cleaner fuel. With the government's green push, India has been one of the forerunners in this race. In order to meet the ambitious goals of having 70% share for electric vehicles on the road by 2030, India is looking to convert a sizable portion of 6 million three-wheelers now on Indian roads into electric. Three-wheelers have been an integral part of the transport sector in India. Although India is still in the very early stages of EV adoption, three-wheeler EVs are showing some real promise in the ecosystem for the last mile mobility. So electrification of this segment will prove to be a massive step towards meeting India's zero carbon emission goal. The electric three-wheeler market is further expected to grow to $1.7 billion by the year 2025, making it one of the fastest growing sectors globally. Electric three-wheelers are a great choice for any commercial as well as passenger last mile application. With the economic and environmental benefits, they are all set to become more and more mainstream. The three-wheeler EVs can reduce carbon tailpipe emissions by 13 tons per 100 kilometers. In India, the FAME2 stimulus has also been helpful in the growth of organized three-wheeler electric vehicles. Given the size of the last mile mobility market and the opportunities it presents itself, there has been constant innovations to transform the space. The Montra electric three-wheeler will be a revolutionary product portfolio structure, superior performance, ease of ownership, and loaded with customer-centric advanced technology. Our company's vision is to improve quality of life through eco-friendly mobile solutions. Electric mobility perfectly fits in this endeavor. Innovative, integrated and affordable solutions have taken a front seat when it comes to the adoption of electric last mile mobility. We believe that three-wheel electric vehicle is not a key to the future, it's the future itself. So we have now formed the electric vehicle subsidiary called the TI Clean Mobility to bring more focus on the electric vehicle business. Mr. Paul is the managing director and Sushant is the business head of the business. We're expecting more growth opportunities in the electric field and like probably the tractor and then the truck business. Okay, I'm not able to get this slide. Anyway, let's see. The opportunities in EVs are plenty. Despite a muted automotive growth during COVID, electric vehicles continue to see a growth of at a CAGR of 30% from 2018 to 2022. With more players investing in the electric mobility and the government push, we expect a CAGR of 60% over the next 5 years and further grow to reach more than 11 crore electric vehicles on the road by 2030. By 2030, major EV adoption is expected in three-wheelers and two-wheelers at 80%, followed by 70% in commercial vehicles, 40% in buses, and a slow adoption of 30% in private cars. For the enabling factors, one is the advanced battery chemistries are getting more viable. Like lithium-ion battery prices have declined from 684 US dollars to 130 US dollars over the last decade. As technology advances, the cost of battery will go down further. Many advanced battery chemistries with lower dependence on rare earth metals, which are much safer for automotive, are being explored across the world as we speak. Then the skyrocketing fuel prices, which has gone up by 20% in the last 3 years, putting pressure on logistics and transport costs, further pushing inflation. Crude prices uncertainty is expected to continue with the global dynamics and turning of components, bringing down dependency on import. The EV powertrains are getting smarter and more efficient. Technology innovations in electronics and motor are allowing more efficient powertrains, which are also smarter. IoT and vehicle and data collection are opening up infinite possibilities. And the focus on clean future is reflected in India's pledge to make a COP of net zero carbon by year 2017. A lot of fintech companies are working towards creating innovative technology, enabling financing and leasing models. Many startups, as well as large energy companies, are showing keenness to invest in the charging infra and battery swap solutions. From our side, I believe we are well poised to join the EV revolution. We have over 7 decades of experience behind us since the first TI cycles plant was started, ranging from cycles, tubes, steel strips, metal formed products, gears, and now CG power. We have state-of-the-art facility for consumer-centric design and related processes. We have created power brands like PSA, Hercules, Chola, Paris, and Coromandel. We have strong group synergies for leveraging in-house engineering, financing, and expansive channel that keeps us on fast pedestal to achieve our business goals. So I started my presentation by saying this was a very significant step for us at TI. I'm sure we'll make a success out of this. Now I leave it to Paul, MD at TI, Clean Mobility, who will give you a heads up in the future. Thank you.
A small story of how it all belonged, how it started, a story of imagination, a story of belief, a story of creating something dynamically new, a story of learning, because 3 years back when we started this journey, none of us knew much about electric vehicles, about the technology, about what makes a success. So the first step in journey for us, I think, was to create the belief that as a new incumbent, we can succeed. So we traveled around some of the places in the world. We understood the dynamics of this business. What gave us a lot of hope was in many places where electrification was at a larger stage at that point of time, the incumbents were, very new incumbents. So that gave us belief as a new incumbent, we can make it a success. That's where a belief got created. And then actually we started discussing in the organization what should be our vision. So we took a, bottoms up approach, met all our people, our staff, everybody else. We were already in bicycles, so we were already in green mobility. Improve, and let's talk about our vision as improving quality of life through eco-friendly mobility solutions. The key operative word here is improve quality of life and eco-friendly mobility solutions. And the only way that we can get that together with what was happening around in the world was to look at, how to get into EV. And then when we looked at, the EV space, and we looked at the different segments in the EV, starting from two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, and so on and so forth. What we realized was that the greatest benefit is coming from the productive end of the segment. Means a person who's buying a vehicle for his livelihood. Why is that so? That's because the more you use an electric vehicle, the economics work out much more favorably. And therefore then we journeyed into the productive end of the segment. And when we looked at this productive end of the segment, we thought that three-wheeler was a good place to be in. Obviously, Chairman talked a lot about, the economics of EV versus ICE. That's by and large known to us in terms of this. The impact on the environment is known. Now the question was, how do we make a success of this? So we did a lot of studies with our consumers, which I think in the subsequent presentation Sushant will present. And we figured out that, we can't look down on this three-wheeler person as we have done in the past, where, the vehicle pretty much remained the same. And that gave us a lot of cues in terms of how we should figure out the architecture of the vehicle, how we should figure out, how we go to market, what is the consumer experience we give, so on and so forth. Around that is centered our, business model, actually. So along the way, as we were just, getting our act together, from ground zero, right from designing the three-wheeler, taking consumer surveys, building internal infrastructure capable of delivering the vehicle manufacturing base, dealing with, all the permissions that we had to do. We also then looked upon, our Vice Chairman and Chairman also talked about it, looked at the different elements of the productive segment. And we wanted to get fast into that, and therefore, we acquired a company called Celestial E-Mobility about a while back, which really talks about electric tractors. Again, on the productive end of the segment, it is looking at how to get more income for the farmers, whose income in real time is not moving up, as we've seen through number of our farmer interactions that we've had. And then as we were getting into this, we got into the opportunity of, getting into an acquisition with a heavy commercial vehicle company, which is Infraprime Logistics. We acquired that company. They are the first guys to have an electric 55-tonner homologated, and which is being used in the market and ready to go in the market. So in a quick span of about a year and a half, we are actually building up, three companies, one of our own to acquire, then, going through the challenges of integration, product development, homologation, building the team structure. All this, what we thought we could never do, actually, we have actually seen that when you have the imagination, I think the constraint in most places is not the resource. I think what we realize, the constraint most of the time comes through imagination. There are many reasons why this, EV foray is going to be there, why it's going to be there. India is first up, very fast urbanizing. The cities are very much polluted. Last year I was reading somewhere oil import bill in India was about 119 billion USD. If you see the diesel and fuel price increases over the last 3 years, that's been to the tune of 48%. And therefore then, it makes great sense for us, as was explained earlier as well, to be in this, mobility business, particularly in the last mile mobility, which people are seeking smarter solutions. There are different segments that are emerging that will help us, to fast expand the market. We all know, the direct sales, companies that are there, and their requirements of logistics, so on and so forth. So this intra-city movement, intercity movement. So these are the kind of opportunities, that are going to go. We must also understand that, the population in India is fast expanding. Roads are not increasing to that level. So a three-wheeler actually with better maneuverability has a good scope for last mile connectivity. I think stats are known, around 2030 there will be about 1 million three-wheelers, and by these three-wheelers I mean three-wheelers that are reported in Siam numbers in terms of this, including the higher value auto rickshaws. That's what it's going to be. While saying this, we must also remember that the level playing field is getting changed, because in the EV world, the value chain of the EV is distinctly different from the value chain of the ICE world. Now, when I say it is distinctly different, what exactly do I mean? Actually, what happens is, in the EV world, simplistically, you can have two parts of the EV world. One is the battery, etc., just the battery and connected motor and controller, and the other part is the chassis. Now, for faster adoption, actually, there are different mechanics which you can put together, which actually, when you deal with this separately, you can get down the cost of acquisition to the customer. This customer who has, affording a higher financer problem, you can get those unique solutions around this for faster adoption. So I think, part of what this slide talks about is really the economics and environment. The economics is very favorable. Actually, when you look at, a horizon of 3 to 4 years, and when you look at, an average drive of a vehicle, which is about 100 kilometers a day, the total cost benefit to a customer works around between 25 and 30%, and therefore in real terms, we'll be helping this person to increase his income, and also in terms of the greenhouse emissions which will be remitted. We all know, the transition from diesel to LPG to CNG and so on and so forth. And the last leg of that seems to be the EV portion, where not only we've seen that happening even in the other businesses that we have acquired, the total cost benefit to the customer works out substantially more. But the challenges that we have to overcome are a few, but the environment around us is becoming much more EV friendly. There are a lot of big players who are going to, reconfigure the energy landscape. They've announced big plans in reconfiguring that. They are solution providers in terms of fast chargers, solar charging, slow charging, battery swapping. So the electric vehicle space is going to be evolved with an ecosystem. By ecosystem, you mean the OEM, then we mean these, front-end solution providers, then you mean the fintech companies that give you plenty of, opportunities to reconfigure the business model, lower the cost of acquisition, variabilize fixed cost, upfront fixed cost into variable cost, and therefore, you make it a virtuous cycle actually. That's what's happening in India, aided and abetted by the government, of course, in number of measures and their own policies that they have announced, which is also giving an acceleration. The faster development of the EV infrastructure in India, approximately 70% of the production cost of this vehicle is Indian actually. Save for the cells that you just have to import and assemble it in India. So I think what we are going to see in the next 5 to 7 years is a very, very fast changing landscape, where each company has to remain very nimble, fast, learn as you go, experiment as a way of learning, and then, apply the experiments. Across the way, you have to have the humility to learn very fast and apply yourself and build that culture inside, the organization. So pretty much I think the way we are looking at it, just summarizing whatever I've said, is, how do we make the ease of ownership right from the experience, and Sushant will elaborate a lot more on that actually. Then when you look at, this whole value chain that we talked about, we are also getting into some level of components. We have an ecosystem of our own companies, as Chairman elaborated, companies like Tube Products of India and others, metal forming, etc., which at the back end can help us to build that ecosystem, that will help us to, build a substantial back end supply chain robustness that helps us to compete at the front end. And obviously all the mobility solutions that I alluded to a little while earlier. I think now I have to invite Sushant to come and deliver the next part of the presentation. Sushant is the business head for this EV three-wheeler division. He, along with his team, has worked tirelessly for the last 3 years in creating a grounds-up product along with the technical team, the CTC team. Some of those members are sitting in front of me. I must express my gratitude for the work done by this entire team in terms of doing that. And pretty much, I think now I leave the floor to him to take charge of the proceedings. Sushant, please.
So I can talk about the product and the brand. I would like to flash a couple of visuals for you. A lot of my friends and colleagues today were physically not sitting in this room. But then this is a story of a grit and determination to achieve a vision which we all work with deep passion to reach where we are today. So when we decided that we want to venture into this electric three-wheeler business, the first thing what we said is that, look, do we really know enough about who is this consumer? Because this product, personally, each one of us would have experienced this product when we have taken rides, and we have a certain view of who is the rider, user of the product, and what the product is all about. But if you ask a question that, okay, why is the product same? Over last so many decades, since probably each one of our childhood, we'll be seeing the product is still the same looking. I'm not talking about the technology part, I'm talking about the experiential part. And in many other sectors, whether automotive, whether non-automotive, there is so much which has happened to deliver a product which is far more compelling. So we went out to really figure out what is happening out there in the space of the consumer, in the lives of the consumers. We reached out to consumers, our end users, as well as the customers of the customers. So because that is also another customer who is using the product which is purchased by somebody else, somebody driven. While we started this journey early 2019 and come 2020, what happened, and that really set us back. But what we did as a team is, despite all those adversity, we continued to work through these tough times of COVID, where complete supply chain was disrupted, our working together was disrupted. We figured out, okay, how to still work within that. How do we work remotely? Now you can imagine working on product, conceptualizing and making it work remotely. It is a big task. So we had to bifurcate ourselves, okay, how we will really break our work into different modules, how do we work in a decentralized manner? How do we balance all those emotional, psychological, physical aspects, and then see that we still deliver what we said we will deliver without compromising on anything. So this is that story of grit and determination which I was talking about, and my thanks to all the team who has been there with us in this journey, who has really delivered something very powerful that I will touch upon in the next couple of slides. Mr. Paul spoke about the vision. When we said that we want to deliver a product, while product is one journey which is happening in parallel, but at the same time, a brand is also something which is very important. And a brand is something, that is the first thing that people remember. There's an identity to the brand. So we have many powerful brands in our portfolio. One brand that we chose to use for the Montra, for the three-wheeler business is Montra. And we have rechristened it, giving it a new identity, calling it Montra Electric. I will, in a minute, show you the new identity that we have created for Montra Electric. So while there are three things which we have used to conceptualize, before I show you a AV of the new visual brand identity, I just want to draw your attention to the key planks of this. So Mr. Paul spoke about the vision. Vision has three parts to it: quality of life, eco-friendly, and mobility solution. Eco-friendly and mobility solution, these go hand in hand for the segment that we are operating in. But what is most important is quality of life. And that is the key plank in our business, in our ventures, whatever we are taking. Anything that we do, we are committed to improve the quality of life. And whose quality of life are we talking about? Each and every stakeholder out there who is directly or indirectly connected. So that is what we are talking about, improving the quality of life. Here in this first product that we are talking about today, we are assembled here for is an electric three-wheeler. So how can we improve the quality of life of that customer? Not just that, how can we improve the quality of life of the other stakeholders? How can we improve the quality of life of our trade partners? How can we improve quality of life of our vendors? How can we improve the quality of life of all the employees who are really working towards? How can we improve quality of life of our investors who are really invested into our business? So there are many stakeholders. Through our collective actions which are set in the right direction with attention to detail, we can really improve the quality of life in different manners. So that is one key plank we really take it to heart. So those three things out of the vision gives us a 3-point, which is triangle, and that is how you will see our new logo, which is in a little more triangular shape, angular shape. Then next is the alphabet M, which comes from Montra. So that M we want to see in the logo. And last but the most important is the symbol that we personify with is eagle. Eagle is a bird which stands for agility, speed, vision, and more importantly, efficiency. That's the only bird which can fly at such a high height and then effortlessly just fly. So these are the three elements we have put together to create an identity for Montra brand. May I have the AV please? A beyond expectation performance and high endurance in our product. These are the 3 key planks which we are going to deliver through any product that comes out of Montra Electric. So, before we talk about the product, it is important to understand the customers. And we undertook very deep inciting programs to really understand the customers. While normally what people may say that a typical class of users in this case is the auto rickshaw driver, but then within that there are so many nuances of the consumers. And if you look at, there are certain kind of consumers who are stability seeker. There are certain other kind of consumers who are thrivers, who are upgraders, who are actually setting new trends. Within that there are beginners and there are experts. So while we aim to deliver all that is needed for people who are the masses, who are really looking at the basic expectations out of the product, but then we also want to look at this outliers who are the trendsetters. We have conceptualized a new term called entrepreneurs, because these guys are quite enterprising in the way they really go about doing their business, and they run like a micro enterprise within that. Like there are people who are having small like 2, 3, 4, 10 auto rickshaws also, and they are running their own small organization within that. And the way they conceptualize their business models, the way they do small things here and there in the product is something which really gave us lots of inputs and insight at what can be done in the product. If you look at across the country, if you travel, every city have so many different kind of auto rickshaws running with customization. So if you ask a question, why are these people doing so much of customization? Right? Every auto rickshaw has so much of identity out there, and which they associate that this is something that belongs to me. The way they ride, the way they will do inside space and packing inside that, which will help them use the vehicle in a certain manner. All that is very specific and unique. But products, whether the product which are available today in the market, whether that delivers all that. So what we said that, look, if we want to do something, we should really make a product which is something that meets their requirement and expectation. On top of it, another softer aspect that we also picked is that these consumers are expecting something which is a matter of pride and respect, because they have a certain feeling that how are they being seen in the society and how they can be seen as having arrived. So taking these cues, we went ahead on our journey on creating a product out there. So I would like to share with you what is that we have conceptualized here. Norms of how people look at an auto rickshaw. So we said, how do we go about doing or making something outstanding, or should I say something super? Anything that we do, it has to be super, best in class, what we are doing. So I'm going to, in the next couple of slides, I'm going to qualify the statement of how it is super in every aspect. So we are calling it Super Auto. And I don't need any words to explain this. Visuals are out here. You can look at it and tell, does it look like an auto rickshaw? It looks like a small car. And that is what, when I said that these consumers expect something which they should feel proud about. They should feel that, yes, I have arrived in my life. I have a certain status. This is something which I associate with, and this belongs to me. So we put in a lot of effort to create a never seen before styling for a three-wheeler. There are lots of interesting features which is by virtue of the design itself. It's an aerodynamic design which reduces the drag in the product and increases the efficiency. It is a car-like hard roof. It has a very large windscreen which for better visibility. It has a stylish rear. Now one clip shot, it looks like a small car going out there. So it's a totally electrifying presence. Now talk about the seating. When we met these as part of the consumer research, when we interacted with the consumer, some of the consumers, what they said, look, this is my office on wheels. This is the verbatim of a couple of auto rickshaw guys out there. I mean, that's a deep statement. Office on wheels. We have fancy offices, air-conditioned office, sitting out there and working. But then this guy in a corner somewhere sitting sometimes with his leg up and then sitting waiting in hot sun out there, waiting for a customer. But what he takes pride in that this is my office, this is my workplace. How can we make his workplace better? So if you see today in the auto rickshaw, there is a small pad which is there on the back side, just enough for it to rest. But we said that we will give you car-like seat comfort. This is the category first that you see, a seat which is like a car-like seat for the driver. And with a premium dual tone finish, very comfortable cushion. The lights that you saw in the front, we have two kind of lights, halogen light as well as LED light. The premium model will come with a dual barrel LED lights. Now what is big is not just that it is the LED light for the first time in the auto rickshaw, but the LED light we have made, packed a new innovation into it. It is completely serviceable LED light. Generally, if there is something wrong goes in the LED, generally LEDs don't fail, they have very long life. But if something goes wrong, or even if something breaks, let's say in a crash or accident, then the entire light has to be changed, the whole set and cluster. In cars it is okay. But in an auto rickshaw, if that whole set has to be changed, it will be a big pinch to the person. So we said that we will design it in a manner so that the light will be serviceable. Every part of the light will be serviceable. The interiors, if you see the cockpit, the dashboard, very aerodynamic, very edgy kind of a look that we have created out here, which gives a nice feel of a nice interiors on the car, car-like feel we get. Business. Look, my friends, I must tell you, there's a magic out here, and I want to explain what is the magic. What we said to all the stakeholders, animate as well as inanimate inside the vehicle, which is the driver, the passenger as well as luggage, for everything we want to provide more. But the dimension, exterior dimension will be the same. How is that possible? When the exterior dimension is same, if I give more to the driver, passenger will get crammed. If I give more to the passenger, the luggage will get crammed. But all the three, if I say I am going to give you best in the segment, how is that possible? Nothing short of magic. So now this, my words you will believe when you see the physical product out there towards the end of the presentation. The images probably may not tell the whole story, but you will experience it when we see the product in physical. This is nothing short of magic. The driver will sit like a king with his legs stretched. The passenger will almost like he can sleep like this, literally with his legs stretched, and huge luggage space. Now while all that is about style, about comfort, about space, but something which is something that you can't compromise at all is the performance. So again, in performance, we said we ought to deliver super performance. What is super performance for an auto rickshaw driver? Our battery, the 10 kilowatt battery, a certified ARA certified range will be 197 kilometers, and a typical range on actual driving condition on road, it will deliver 155 plus minus 5. The smaller battery, a certified range is about 152 kilometers per charge, and on a typical range it will deliver 118 plus minus 5 on a single charge. Alongside that, all our dealer points, we are also going to create a charging station out there where you can go. The kind of range that we have given in our product, actually one charge, full charge you don't need. But then there are some very few customers who may be there who will want to take that extra ride out there or a second ride out there towards the end of the day. So for those people who want more than that range, for that we are also enabling charging provisions at our dealership point, so where you can go quickly, even if half an hour you charge, you will get enough juice for another 30-40 kilometers. So that is something that we are going to enable at all our dealer points. Talking about the power, this will be the fastest vehicle out there and the most powerful vehicle out there. 0 to 20 in 4 seconds. Top speed, it is anyway governed by the regulations, 55 kilometer. Peak torque, 16 Newton meters. And a gradability of 21 degrees. Which means on the flyover with load, you don't have to slow down. You'll just go. We also have, again, industry first, we have 5 drive modes including reverse. We have a special park assist mode. And the park assist mode, because this vehicle is very powerful vehicle we have built, so while parking, we want people to be able to control the vehicle properly, so you can put it in park assist mode and very slowly and smoothly you can park it into a place where you need to. Now beyond performance, the next plank which is very important is about strength and reliability. One very conscious choice we made at the beginning of the project, because we were thinking whether we should look at which material. Should we look at metal? Should we look at plastic? After a lot of interaction, discussion, we decided that these customer values metal more, because the use and throw kind of a culture is not there in the system, where one part breaks, like a car, a bumper breaks, you throw the bumper out and then put another bumper and then move on. This customer is not like that. If you see what they do, anything breaks, they will go just tinker around, take a hand brush and paint it, and still they'll move on, because for them that livelihood earning is very important. They cannot slow down, they cannot stop. Right? They have to go on. They cannot just keep on spending money on part replacements like that. Sometimes they would want to do on their own. So metal is something which they really value. And therefore we said that we will design the vehicle in full metal. So we have designed the chassis, we have actually designed in boron steel, which gives us a lot of strength and durability. The entire body panels are in metal. Alongside the suspensions that we have created, again a dual fork front suspension for super comfortable ride. On the EV, there is so much of discussion about the safety factor. So this is something which we have taken very seriously. This would be again one of the first in the industry, where we are talking about 7-point sensors of the temperature of any thermal abrasions out there. We have fire retardant cables out there we have BMS, which can, the response time is less than 500 microseconds. And battery and motor are well protected for any elements out there. The motor is an IP67 motor. Now, having said all this, when we have packed so much, so what about the smartness of the vehicle? Because we are talking about EV, we are talking about connected world out there. So obviously there has to be something a lot more beyond just this style, comfort, reliability, power, right? So there has to be something about the smartness. So we have packed in a lot of smart features into the product. The product comes with an app, there's a driver app, and that driver app gives you varied information. So these vehicles are connected with the most advanced telematics. So the driver and us as a company, we are all connected. We are able to understand how the vehicles are performing. If there is an issue, the alerts can go. The driver can himself see what is his vehicle usage, what is his drive behavior. He is able to see whether how he can drive better for him to get better mileage out of the product. So the battery status out here, any service alerts and booking, all those. His green miles, how much of green miles he has earned in terms of by riding these vehicles. We have a documents section as well in the app. So some of your personal documents you can store into that, whether it is your driving license, your vehicle RC books, or any other document you can save in here for quick reference and access. There is a spend tracker, and there is an emergency SOS as well. This app is available as of now in 7 different languages in vernacular. Last but not the least, people want that how can I own the vehicle easily? So owning has to be part of it. One part is acquiring and buying a vehicle. Second part is using the vehicle. So while using the vehicle, there are so many things that support that you will need. So we have lot of different models available for financing. We are also looking at digital financing. We have 24/7 roadside assistance. We have a 2-hour service turnaround time on a pre-booking. One very important thing is about the electric vehicle is when you charge the vehicle, where you are charging and how you are charging. At least the people who are buying those vehicles we are going to help them. How should they connect it to the charging port, because normally they may not have a good places to charge as well. So the kind of wiring they should do, the do's and don'ts. So we will train them in those as well. The vehicle, there will be 3-year annual maintenance contract as well, and an option of to a plus 2 years extended warranty. So these vehicles come with a 3-year warranty and a 1 lakh kilometer. So whichever comes first. So ladies and gentlemen, here I'll stop. I spoke a lot. Now this is the time to see a product in real. So I'll leave the stage for the team to